Good afternoon and welcome to this month's webinar provided by Advice Media. This is Chad Erickson. I'm your host and moderator today, and it's a pleasure to have everyone here with us. Just want to cover a handful of things before we get into our topic today, which will be presented by Cheryl Whitman. And some of you have heard Cheryl speak before. She's an awesome speaker, and again, with 30 years of experience in this business, she definitely knows what she's doing, and she's as we talked about topics, she and I thought, what's something that we're hearing a lot about, and one of them was events. So we came up with this idea for creating an awesome event on any budget, because a lot of times we keep hearing that people are saying, I don't know what to do. Where do I start? How do I do this? I don't have a lot of money. I want to get going, but this is an important thing. And so Cheryl will be able to talk about that in this presentation today. So I'm very excited for this topic and what she has to offer. Just a couple of quick notes. As we go throughout our presentation today. On the control panel, if any of you have any questions, we certainly invite you to type those out. You'll see that area where it says questions. You can send that in. I will get those as the moderator, and I'll be able to facilitate those to Cheryl at the end of the presentation. Also, Cheryl has just released her 5th edition of her book, Beautifully Profitable. And at the end of the presentation today, she's going to give a little code for a discount for those who would like the e-version of that. They can use that code and save $15 off the book, and we'll give that code at the end. So anyway, very, very exciting. But and then also want to just announce our webinar for next month, just kind of giving you a heads up on what's happening and what we're going to do next month. On April 19th, we'll have a very special presentation by Google. We are a Google certified partner, and we work very closely with them and their teams, and they have agreed to have one of their regional specialists over digital marketing and pay-per-click come in and actually do a presentation for us. So I had a call with them last week to kind of do some plans. They work with their channel partners like us. And one of the things that we're going to be addressing is the journey that medical patients take when they're searching online. They're going to be able to provide the data, the information, the research path that people take when they're searching. So it's going to be very, very interesting to hear that data. I'm actually very excited myself to hear the data and to see how it applies and how we can help our customers as well. So anyway, look forward to that next month, and I'll be sending more information out about that. But for today, let me please introduce our guest. Cheryl Whitman is from Beautiful Forever. She's a marketing business consultant. She has a team of experts who help physicians and med spas and within the medical industry. She also helps a lot of companies with their growth and creating real profits for them. She's found great ways to increase profitability and the ROI by really putting together some very creative and proven methods that drive sales. And Cheryl's also very, very big on education. She's an educator by profession initially, and understands event education and how to establish new profit centers within practices, which is critical. And with 30 years of experience, as I mentioned earlier, she's seen the evolution within the field. And with that evolution, she's also kept her book up to date. As I mentioned, she's now on the 5th edition of Beautifully Profitable Beautifully Profitable, Forever Profitable. And I've read the book. I'm actually waiting to get the 5th edition, so I'll be getting that and buying that as well. But it really, if you have not read this, I strongly encourage it. It does provide a step-by-step resource guide for really successfully growing a profitable business, and well worth your time. But we're so lucky to have Cheryl with us today. She's extremely busy in some projects she's working on, and I think had she known how busy she was going to be here in the month of March, she wouldn't have committed to me when she did at the time, but I'm so grateful she did and kept that commitment. So Cheryl, thank you very much, and look forward to hearing about these tips on creating an awesome event.
Thank you, Chad, very much. I appreciate that. So we're going to start the conversation on successful events today. How many of you would like better results from your events? I guess you can raise your hands. I'm not sure I'll see them all. But I know the answer because we deal with hundreds of practices a month. We all want to achieve greater return on investment. It's all about sales, marketing, education, and growth. So we're talking about practice events. Events can be very large and grand, an open house event, a grand reopening. They cost more money. It does take more time. Do you need a planner? That depends on what type of event you want to do. But what we've really seen, and I will show you towards the end a white paper that we had created for one of our corporate clients. The VIP smaller events, more focused, with limited seating, will cost you less. They're a little bit more intimate, and you wind up closing more. So your return on investment is greater. And that's what you're looking for, is to have an event and have a great return on investment. So hosting successful events, it's not always easy, but we will help you. We have a roadmap. And if you follow our roadmap to success, it will help you step by step. So get your pencils out, get your computers out. I'll give you some great notes. In my second book, Beautifully Profitable, Forever Profitable, there is a section, chapter 3, and it's titled Lights, Camera, and Action, Strategizing and Hosting Events. And there's also, in the exhibits, a checklist and a sample calendar that will really help you in addition to the information I will give you today. So a well-run event, what is the key? The key is in the planning. And you want to promote your brand. You want people to know that you're having an event. You want to get the word out that you are promoting a new piece of equipment or a new product. So not everybody's going to show up to your event, we know that. But remember, it's all about marketing. That's really what it is. You're going to have a great event. You might only have 15 or 20 people attending. That's fine. We recently had somebody who had 7 people show up, but 5 people purchased procedures. They had a great event. They didn't think they had a great event, but when we looked at the bottom line numbers, it was a great event. So promoting your event does require some skills and some marketing skills. It's not the same as doing a conversion or a sale or a consult. That's why you need to pay attention to the webinar today. So number 1, we want to determine what are your event goals. So in talking to practices every month, there are all types of goals. You want to have a certain amount of money that you make. You want to make $20,000 from your event. Do you want to have 7 procedures sold that night? How are you going to differentiate your event in your practice? We all want to generate new patients, new clients. We all want to retain loyal patients, and that's what these events will help you to do. So we're going to think about what are your goals, and I want you to write them down. And then I want you to share them with your staff because they don't always know what you're thinking or what your goals are. Determining your event budget. Well, how much do you want to spend? It doesn't have to be a lot of money. The low budget events we find are really getting bottom lines higher and higher. So let's think about the anticipated number of guests. And where are you going to hold it? In what venue? We prefer your office if there's space. If you're going to take your equipment and your products and go on the road to another town, another city, we have doctors doing that too very successfully. So then you need to look for a larger venue or a different type of venue. But in determining your budget, have a spreadsheet. And we're going to look at how much are we going to spend on food, on drinks, if you have to tip anybody, if there's going to be any other audio-visual services that you're going to have to pay for, any extra staff you might have to have at your event. We'll talk about that later. You must be overstaffed, not understaffed at your event. And how much you're going to spend on marketing. Are you going to put any money into decor? Most of the time, it's a good excuse to clean things up and to do spring cleaning or give your office a facelift when you know that you have an event coming up. So for all of those who are listening, and feel that your office needs a little bit of a facelift, it's a great time now to start talking to the owner of the practice and say, okay, we're determining our budget and we're going to add this into our budget. Number 3, we're going to compile the perfect guest list. Well, how do we do that? You always have to over-invite. Industry standards say half of the people that say they're coming show up. Now, in most cases, let's say 50% of the cases, we find that true. Some cases, you'll get a 20% that won't show up, and we had a couple of cases where more people showed up who didn't RSVP. They just thought, oh, we can just drop in. Of course, they're welcome, but you want to make sure you have enough seating and food to everybody, and everybody's comfortable. There was one practice I'm just thinking about now, it's funny, in California where he had patients sitting all over the floor because so many people showed up and they didn't expect it. But everybody was happy. I wasn't happy to see patients sitting on the floor, but they made good money, everybody was happy, so it all went fine. So we need to identify your target audience. Well, we want to bring in new patients, we want to bring in current patients. Maybe we segment them in age groups or sex, whether it's male or female, or you want to have couples, depending on what it is and what your topic is. Are we dealing with the millennials? Are we dealing with women in menopause? Are we dealing with men, sexual health? If we deal with vaginal rejuvenation, we want small groups of women because that's an intimate subject. And depending on the age, you know, it's the mommy makeover group is not really interested in what the menopausal woman might be interested in. So you might want to segment the groups out. Some during the day, you could do a woman's tea or a lunch and learn, a brunch. You could do a happy hour, after work educational event. And you want to always invite the media contacts you have and the local businesses and the managers. If there's other medical offices in your building, invite the managers and the staff. Remember, even if they don't come to the event, it's about marketing. And now they know that you're offering this service, and it's bringing your name in front of them again and again. So most importantly is your marketing has to be very dynamic. So if you need to select a venue and you're not having it in your office and you're having a larger event, you want to do it in an upscale place that people want to come to. So if the office is not an option, maybe there's a complimentary business nearby that will work with you. But if you want to do something smaller, maybe, you know, your country club or the restaurant has a small intimate room that's totally closed in, where you could even bring a screen and do some quick consults behind the screen. I have doctors that have done that as well. So it all works. But again, we're trying to keep these smaller events, and if you can have them in your office, that's great. That's what I would prefer. Promoting and getting the word out. So we start 30 days before. You can start 20 days before. We have other larger events that we start 45 days before, depending on the size. But you do want to send out save the date because everybody has busy schedules these days. So you want to make sure you get on their calendar early. Have a poster and banner in your office. Have flyers to hand out. And request people to RSVP. We always say limited seating. There needs to be some call to action. Make sure, because we've seen evites and save the dates go out that didn't have all the information. You need all the information, the location, the time, the date, and also how do you want them to RSVP. You might take for granted it's coming from your office. They have all that information, but they might print it or they might send it to somebody else. So you always want to make sure that all the contact information, and let people know how you want them to RSVP. Please call us. Please email us. And make sure somebody in the office is dedicated to keeping a very good list of the RSVPs. So now we're promoting on social media as well. You're engaging your patients. You're looking for new patients. You want people to share. So Facebook, you can create an event page. You can go onto Instagram, Twitter. You can put posts out 3 times a week about what's going to be going on at your wonderful, exciting event. And then it brings new people, and it brings new faces, and it brings new excitement into your office and also with all of your followers. So get it out there on social media. Again, don't be worried there's too many people because they need to RSVP. We do have some cases where there are too many RSVPs. So we tell you after a certain number, whether it's number 20 is our max, after 25 or so, create another event date, have a wait list. Being put on a wait list is a good thing because people realize how busy you really are. Or invite them in for a consult if they can't make it the day or the night of your event. Again, it's about the marketing, getting the word out, and starting the conversation, continuing the conversation. and staying profitable. So internally, it's very easy to promote. Make sure that all the staff is engaged. Your newsletter. Internally, send out a newsletter once or twice to your entire database. Let them know about the information. Let them know about the new service or the new equipment or the new product. And make it exciting. Also, you might create a blog or an article or a video about what's happening at your event. And try to focus on one piece of equipment or one specific thing the night of the event. If you have a large open house and you want different vendors in every room, that's a different type of event, and that's fine, but that's a larger, grander event. So we're talking now and focusing more on what we have proven success with hundreds of practices a month, and we know that it works. So stay focused, send information out to your internal database. If you don't do newsletters, if you don't do e-blasts, let us know. Email me. We'll let you know. We have programs for as low as $179 a month. We can help you to get out a custom email and newsletters on an ongoing basis. So you want to promote by inviting. So here's just some samples of events and invites and evites. So again, the save the date went out, and now we're going to send out the invitation. Depending on where you're located, people book out. So in New York City or Chicago or Boston or Miami, they might book out further. In smaller towns, they might only be looking at a 2-week window. So depending on where you are. But again, your brand, your identity, your logo must be there. You want to include all the information, instructions, and what is the call to action. You also want to let them know that everybody's going to leave with a gift, everybody's going to leave with a gift card, and we absolutely want them to invite friends. So within the community, they should know what's going on. So a press release is a great idea. In the book, Beautifully Profitable, Forever Profitable, by the way, you could find it on Amazon as well, but if you go to Beautiful Forever website, the Beautifully Profitable book and the special for today for the first 10 buyers for the ebook for the 5th edition, which literally just came out last week, is available. If not, you can get the hardcover book on Amazon. But we do have information about community involvement and a press release. A press release could be used in many ways, and that's a whole other topic, but you could create a short press release and you could just use it as a post on your website. You can use it as a post on your Facebook. You can use it to email blast out in your newsletter. You can have a copy of it in your waiting room for those that are not online. Don't assume that everybody's getting your emails or everybody's looking at every email that's sent out, because I know for sure that we can't. It's almost impossible today to keep up. It's a 24/7 world. And even if you don't sleep a whole lot, it's still hard to keep up. So you want to distribute invitations and get them out to businesses and get them out into the community. How do you monitor the RSVP? Well, one person is dedicated, keep a log, and make sure that it's reinforced every step of the way with your brand on it, from your website to your social media to your practice newsletter. And every practice should have an educational newsletter, not something that just goes out with specials every month. A special could be part of it, but everybody's about education these days. And what I want to teach you today is to educate, not to sell during your event. You want to sell your event and the concept you're having an event and get really excited. That enthusiasm in the staff makes a very big difference. And you have posters and flyers. You make sure everybody is handed an invitation or handed a flyer. And all of this, as I always say, starts at the top. So if there's enthusiasm and there's a team incentive to make your goal, there will be a big difference in how many people will show up and how many people will find out about your event, if everybody in the office is really excited about it. So you have to have a master plan, a roadmap, and it is all about teamwork. Everybody coming together to make it happen. Think about a wedding. Think about some large, there's so many moving parts. So this is smaller, but it's still, you need to communicate with your staff. The staff has to know what are their assignments And you must have a meeting. I don't care if it's a 10-minute meeting several times before the event. I don't care how many times you've done events. Trust me, something will come out, you'll learn something, and your next event will be even better. When we do events in the morning or afternoon and then we do another event at night, I usually recommend having a break with some food for the staff and review the event you just had, how we can make it better for the evening or for the next one. There needs to be a dress code. There's too many people thinking they can come in their scrubs. It's not what you want. So you have to decide, what is your dress code? Everybody should have a name tag. And you should always make sure that you invite a happy patient and they are in the audience and they're willing to get up and talk about the procedure that they've had and how it changed their life, and they're so happy because everybody likes to see somebody who's had the procedure done. And so you need to create this timeline. Again, you need to find an ambassador, somebody in the practice who will take a lead on this. And if they need help, have an assistant. So there needs to be a menu for what's going on that evening every 15 minutes. From the time people check in to the time they leave, there needs to be a menu of food. You need to know what vendor is contributing what, and don't be afraid to ask, whether it's a giveaway raffle, a goodie bag, what everybody needs to leave with something, and a vendor will contribute, whether it's even to help pay for invitations to be mailed and the postage. So the flow of the event has to run very, very smoothly. And then there's going to be post-event follow-up strategy we'll talk about moving ahead. So you want to engage your vendors too. We want to encourage them to attend and help you, whether they're helping you with your presentation, they're helping you with a setup, they're helping you organize with your staff, just helping to oversee. It also gives you some leverage with your vendors, because the vendors, when they get involved with a practice, you know as well as I know, they'll give you that little bit of extra time, that little bit of extra help that you need. But ask for the assistance and ask for items maybe to raffle off. And maybe that night you can even have special event pricing on their product. But at an event, you must offer special, tonight only pricing, a call to action, so somebody signs up for a consult, or they give you a deposit for the procedure, or they buy the product. There has to be some call to action. And you want to have a patient financing option where people could feel, I could afford this. So make it affordable to everybody. Everybody knows about Care Credit. It's amazing. It's great. They even have event information. If you're a Care Credit provider, call them, tell them you're having an event, tell them Cheryl sent you. I am a consultant with them as well. And they will send you a special box for the night of your event to put things around the office to talk about how patient financing will help make it affordable to everybody to have the procedures done that they want. So you have to determine what those specials are going to be. These are just some samples of things we've done, from goodie bags and tissue paper to mirrors to gift cards to custom magazines. We create it all for our clients, and we'll help you with special event pricing or giveaways or promotions, or how you can market your event, or how event should be run. We even do trainings over the phone on a weekly basis to get the staff engaged. If you can't seem to get it off the ground yourself, call us, we'll help you. We do hundreds of them a month. So you want to prepare the venue, and pretty flowers, music, that's a good start. Having your products displayed, and everything set up beforehand. So it's not like everybody's rushing around. I just went to an event last week where everybody's rushing around, getting everything organized while people are walking in. If you're going to serve champagne or you're going to put out some food, have it out, have it displayed, ready and organized, and have the goodie bags ready. Sometimes I even say to have the goodie bags with your magazines and all of your things in it on each seat, because you find, especially with women, that if something is on a chair, they're going to take that chair and sit down much faster than they will if there's nothing on the chair. So that's one little trick that we have learned. But, you know, that night you want to talk about your next event. You want to talk about something that's happening next. And you want to also promote your raffles and your drawings. And maybe even give everybody a gift card to come in for a mini facial or peel, to keep people consistently coming in. The retention is what we're looking for. So now you have an event run through. So we want to make sure you're ready. We've done events at big, grand, beautiful locations. And the tour of the whole office was given by an office manager in one instance. And it was strange because the office manager took people through room to room and really didn't know what to say or how to say what was going on or what was being promoted in each of the services the doctor was promoting. So that really, I mean, that was several years ago, but you know, after that, I say, maybe you need to really run through this, maybe even have a script. So we start with the front desk, check in and check out. You might even have a separate table when people are walking in, so you capture them as soon as they walk in. Make sure you capture their information. Maybe give them a name tag with their first name on it. And that checklist that you have internally should be important, that everything that you wanted to buy and that everything's set up the right way, everybody's dressed the right way, and you meet beforehand. So an hour before, everything should be ready because people do sometimes show up early. Sometimes they show up late too, but sometimes they show up early. And you want to give them a little bit of time to mingle and have something to eat or drink and then sit down. So if you're going to have a photographer or a videographer there, that's great. It's a good time to get testimonial. If your VIP patients will be there, just make sure that everybody has signed off that it's okay to use their video or their photograph. Make sure you have enough help. We were at an event about 2 months ago, and they had more people than they expected, and they didn't have enough help. So you could invite a spouse, a friend, a very good patient, somebody to come in to help you the night of the event. When there's a men's night event, there's no problem getting women to come in. Trust me, I've had men's night events, and we get lots of volunteers. So now it becomes an educational presentation. Keep it short, but who is doing the presenting? Is it going to be yourself? Is it going to be the rep from the company? Is it a combination? Somebody has to introduce the speaker. You want to keep it to 10 to 12 minutes, your presentation. And you want to leave time for questions and answers. But everybody loves to see photographs. Before and after photographs sell every time. Testimonials are important. Video testimonials would be great if you can insert them into your presentation. And having that happy patient in the audience get up and speak about their experience is great. So you want to get your point across, you want to be convincing, you want to educate, and you want to answer questions. The night of the event, you have to decide, are you going to do consultations? Are you going to book consultations? What are you going to do that night? Who's going to be there? Is the head provider? Is the doctor going to be there? Are the nurses only going to be there? Who's there? If the doctor is not going to be there, or it's a male doctor and we're talking about vaginal rejuvenation and they don't want to be there, they rather the nurses take care of it, that's great. But have the doctor at least shake everybody's hand as they walk in and then leave. And we've done that many times and it's worked beautifully. So you want to have an awesome event. So there needs to be somebody as a greeter, a familiar face who knows the people coming in. Somebody who's explaining the specials and the raffles, somebody else who's giving the tours. So everybody wants to feel welcome. So using their first name, meeting them, greeting them, maybe handing them a glass of wine or a glass of champagne or whatever you're going to have, or non-alcoholic beverages. But make sure there's adequate staffing in the check-in and, of course, at the checkout, with dates ready. And if there's a special of 20%, 30% off, make sure there's cheat sheets with those numbers so somebody doesn't have to sit there and look at their calculator behind the front desk, because nobody wants to wait online and you want to close as many people as you can that night. So have the amounts of money ready for each section of the body. If it's a body contouring, if it's a product, or if it's something else you're launching, make sure everything is very much organized, and maybe it's even a package type of program, a package deal. So everybody in the office should have those cheat sheets in their pocket so people can answer the questions without saying, please wait, so we can get the gal behind the desk to answer the question. So when it comes down to the closing, that's very important that it's adequately staffed. Post-event, just as important. You want to extend the offer. You want to still get the word out. You want to call all the attendees and thank them. Ask them what other questions they have. If they didn't book, find out if they'd like to come back in. Do an e-blast with thanking, your patients. Send out your newsletter and add some photographs or add a video of the evening and let other people see what a fun, fabulous event it was. Post it on your website. Put it on your social media. But remember, you need patient releases and permission if you're going to post something with their name. Forget about their names, just their faces. So post-event follow-up is critical. You want to know how people thought about the event. We do even offer event surveys post-event so you can get some feedback. So sometimes it's done after the event, sometimes it's done the night of the event. But how do you evaluate success at your event? Again, it's not just about the attendance, it's about getting the word out in the community. And even this post-event is going to help you get the word out in the community that you had an event if somebody happened to have missed it or couldn't make it. So we did put Thermi, a VIP event, we did a white paper. And it was published. And it was really very interesting when you look at the numbers. So quickly, just to run through it, and anybody who wants a copy of the white paper will be glad to email it to you. But how profitable was your event? And this was done by a third party. I did not call them and get the information. So there were 20 to 29 practices that brought in between $31,000 and $40,000 at their event. And there were some lower and some higher. But even at the $21,000 mark, or the $50,000 mark. Those are amazing numbers. We have one, Dr. Sherman here, we had a quote from him, but we have lots of information and lots of quotes if you're interested, or if you want a copy of the white paper, we're happy to provide that for you. I believe in the Beautifully Profitable book, we even have a copy of it, but I will double check on that in the new 5th edition that just came out. I thank all of you for your participation. And I hope you're engaged. I hope this creates some excitement to want to go have an event. I'm always happy to do free consultations. If you want to talk to me, I make myself available to everybody, as all of you know. And we are offering you the webinar special package on the book, which is $15 off. And the code is SALE, S-A-L-E, only for the first 10 ebooks. The book is now over 320 pages, and it is a great guide and tool to have marketing meetings in your practice on a regular basis. That will keep you connected with your staff, and it'll get you motivated to have more successful events. And I thank you, and I'm happy for you to email us. I'm not sure, I guess it's on there, but it's Cheryl, C-H-E-R-Y-L, at beautifulforever.com. And there's my contact information, direct line. You could text me, and like everybody else that's busy, text works better. I thank you very much. We do have some special pricing for consulting packages that are available, even as low as 5 hours of consulting time to help you get boosted and grow your practice to the next level. Thank you very much for the opportunity today.
Cheryl, thank you very much. Really appreciate you taking time to go over these items, and this is awesome. I attended an event recently that one of our customers put on here in Salt Lake, and it was an awesome event. But the thing for them is it wasn't their first one, but they didn't all start out to be as big as they are. This was a big celebration of several years in practice, and it was fantastic. But again, starting out, just if you haven't done one before, just get started. But using the things you talked about are absolutely critical, not just in marketing it ahead of time, but also letting people know afterwards so that it creates a buzz about the event for later. So very, very powerful. One of the questions, Cheryl, that one of our guests asked is, what are some of the best items that you've used in the raffle before?
People love great values. So we'll put together $500 off or a $500 package. It could be a skincare package. It could be a package of aesthetic type of procedures. We don't ever give away surgical procedures because we don't know who is a candidate and who's not. So we always say to stay away from that. So anything from facials and peels with a skincare basket, or a series of smooth type treatments for your skin that are non-invasive, non-surgical, that an esthetician can do. And we usually like to do packages and programs and raffles valued at $500 to $5,000, which get people excited to come to the event.
Perfect. One of the other questions that was asked is how much should they budget? If, you know, kind of a range, maybe a budget range for, you know, if it's their first one ever, what should they be planning on from a marketing perspective to really get the word out, and for the raffles, everything else they're doing? I mean, is it $2,000, $5,000? What do you think it normally is?
Well, I could say that my professional advice for the first one, or for the first several, is you want to keep them small and intimate. You want to keep it educational. So you're really only looking for 10 or 15 people. So you don't even have to go outside of your internal database. You could stay internally and keep it small, feel comfortable, because it is something that is very stressful. The whole office should be involved. So the first few, I would say, keep the budget as low as $300 to $500. You don't have to have fancy food and fancy hors d'oeuvres. It can just be some pickup foods and some drinks. Just kind of test the waters. And you don't want people thinking that every time they come to your event that these are going to be these grand, lush food events, because then you'll find that people are just coming for the food, and that's not what you want, or the networking. You want to keep it very focused on education and very focused to an hour and a half. So it does not have to cost you a lot. The low budget events are the ones that I showed you the statistics and the numbers, between $20,000 and $60,000 that they brought in an hour and a half time frame.
No, perfect, and that's a great point. You know, why are they attending? I attended an event recently held by one of our vendors in New York, and they opened it up for people to come to a steakhouse, people that are interested potentially in their products, and it's great. But about a third of the people there have come to realize, hey, I just signed up for this and I know I'm going to get a free dinner. They have no interest at all in what's going on. And so, yeah, even doctors take advantage of that. So it's a little bit of that human nature. So totally get that. You know, Cheryl, you mentioned the video and photo release and making sure you have that. You know, you might have somebody there for the event, or, you know, pictures being posted you want to post on social media. Is it best to just have people sign that release when they just come in and as part of the registration process?
We leave that to the practice to decide what they feel more comfortable doing. I mean, I have a lot of doctors get testimonials, and then after the fact, they ask somebody to sign something. So it's really a matter of comfort. Yes, does it make sense to do it beforehand? But not everybody's comfortable signing it, and not everybody's comfortable giving it. So depending on the practice, we make suggestions, but we can't tell you what to do. So beforehand, yes, makes sense. But if you do it afterwards, if somebody happens to be in a photograph or giving you a testimonial video, that would be fine too. So it's really up to the practice.
Okay. Yeah, so regardless of when you do it, just make sure that it happens. Another question is, what do you think about the free 3D scan versus 3D scan raffle for the participant? And this is kind of for a dental practice, but it's the same kind of concept. Do you use the word free, or do you just put it as part of the raffle?
Well, you know, free is okay, but the truth is that nothing's really free, because if you have to pay somebody to be there, you have to pay somebody to do it, there's a cost. You should put a value on it. So even if we're doing a skin consultation, the esthetician's time, if they're doing a camera and they're doing a, you know, an evaluation of your skin through a Vizia or through some sort of camera system, or taking before and after pictures, might not cost you anything, but there should be a value put on it, so people really look at it as much more valuable. So even in the dental, and we did a lot of dental spas over all the years we've been in business, there should be a value. So it could be a $150 value, and tie it in with something else.
Yeah, and this one they mentioned the $450 value, so that's significant. You want to make sure people realize that whether it's we're raffling off this 3D scanner, $450 value, that they see, wow, that's a big deal, I definitely want to be there. So create value behind it. And often, one of the terms I've heard one of our other consultants use is they don't like the word free, but complimentary. Free sometimes might denote a cheapening of the product or the service, whereas complimentary, or valued at this, but make sure again that there's value there. They sense that it's not just a giveaway. Anything else you want to add on that, Cheryl?
No, I think that's all good information. Everybody wants added value. Everybody wants something for nothing. I mean, even if somebody's coming in, they're booking a $25,000 facelift, they want some added value. So you can put in pre and post products, pre and post procedures with your esthetician or your nurse. Everybody wants added value. So always keep that in mind. Very good point.
Yeah, very true. Excellent. We don't have any other questions today, Cheryl. We sure appreciate your time and again, for sharing this incredible information. And again, so everyone knows, you can find much of this information and much, much more in the Beautifully Profitable, Forever Profitable book. And with the 5th edition that's just been released, it has the latest, greatest items in there. And again, for attending today, using the code SALE, S-A-L-E, at checkout, from beautifullyprofitable.com, going to Cheryl's book website, you'll be able to get that book and save $15 off of that ebook today. So you can have that in your possession and make sure you have those notes. We've also recorded this presentation, and it will be on our YouTube page as well as emailed to you as an attendee. You'll receive a link to that tomorrow. So just letting you know that will be available. You can find it on the Advice Media YouTube page by tomorrow afternoon as well. So Cheryl, thank you again for taking some of your valuable time to be here with us today and to teach us these great principles. And we look forward to seeing everyone again next month. Everyone have a great week. Make spring awesome. Let's go.
Thank you very much, Chad, and have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.